Finance meeting on the 28th of March. If you have a phone, turn it on silent. Our first order of business is accepting the agenda as is, add or delete items. Sorry for the voice, y'all.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the agenda as is.
All right, we have a motion. I guess I'll have to second. All in favor? We got that?
I do.
All right. You can go ahead and consent.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we accept the consent items as presented.
Don't want to remove anything? I'm good.
I'm good with
I second. All in favor? All right, we'll move to general business. First, an award of contract to College Park Phase 2 through 4. Preliminary engineering and construction administration services to EMC Engineering Services Incorporated in the amount of $573,000 with funding in the amount of $527,075 to be provided by SPOS 2016 drainage projects, College Park drainage outfall improvements, and $45,925 to be provided by the CDBG grant for the same project. Mr. Andrews?
Sir, Paul Andrews, County Engineer. Project before you is to award the engineering and get that phases 2 through 4 on that large SPOS 2016 project underway. We went out to bid for those services, received 3 bids. EMC Engineering was the highest scoring on the bid or on the total evaluation of the bids. And we recommend they were the designers for phase 1 and the concept planners for the whole of the project, so they should be very familiar with the project.
And this is the complete design for that project?
That is correct. Yes, sir. Fortunately, y'all had the wisdom to hold off a little bit, and that's what this project has been on hold for a bit, pending the award of those of that community development block grant funding for the whole of the project.
Okay.
So this.
How about you?
I'm good. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the awarding of the contract for College Park Phase 2 through 4 preliminary engineering and construction administration services project to EMC Engineering Services, Inc. in the amount of $573,000 with funding in the amount of $527,075 to be provided by SPOS 2016 drainage projects.
I guess since there's 2 of us, there's no discussion.
And $45,925 to be provided by the CDBG grant for the same project.
All right, it's been duly read. I will second. Call for a vote. All in favor? Thank you, Paul. You got the next one?
I've got the next one too, sir.
Okay. Approve a change order number 1 to the contract from Michael Baker and Associates for the Sea Island Road corridor study in the amount of $39,148 with funding from the GAMPO grant funds allocated to the county for this project. Go ahead, Paul.
This project is a study of the Sea Island corridor from Demery Road to Frederica Road. The county, it's coming to the county because it's actually a BATS project, our Metropolitan Planning Organization. County is the fiscal agent for that, so the contracts and financials go through the county. But the funding for this is a grant we received. We went out and received through the Georgia Metropolitan Planning Organization to fund this, and it has sufficient funds to cover this change order.
And this change order is because
through the BATS organization and the federal and state funding requirements associated with that, there's a lot of meetings that are required through BATS that wasn't captured in the original scope of services for the project, but are BATS organization looked at it and said, we're gonna need, in order to be good with BATS, we're gonna need to have some more.
And the county funding part of this is really only 20%, correct? Isn't that the BATS?
I believe this GAMPO is funded, is this a match, you recall?
The county match is in kind with staff time, so there's no cash match for the county.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve change order number 1 to the contract with Michael Baker Associates for the Sea Island Road Corridor Study in the amount of $39,148 with funding from the GAMPO grant funds allocated to the county for this project.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. 24, approve a contract for phase 1 and 2 of the wayfinding signage project to Waybay Holdings, DBA Signs, etc., with funding in the amount of $153,350 to be provided by the FY23 Accommodation Excise Tax Fund Community Development Administration budget.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Christopher Carey, Glynn County Planning and Zoning. This is the wayfinding signage project that was, I believe, brought forth back in 2018. It has 3 components. County has 1 component, as well as CVB and the City of Brunswick. City of Brunswick has completed their phase. CVB has completed St. Simon's phase, and now the county has the last 2 phases, phase 1 and 2. So this contract would be to complete the installation, fabrication, and consultation required to complete that.
I remember when this started.
I've been seeing the signs, they look nice.
All right.
Good.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, I recommend, or I move that we approve a contract for phase 1 and phase 2 of the wayfinding signage project to Waybay Tay Holdings, DBA Signs, etc., with funding in the amount of $153,350 to be provided by the FY23 Accommodation Excise Tax Fund Community Development Administration budget.
Okay. I second. All in favor? Thank you, sir. Number 25, approve the installation and funding of a flashing pedestrian beacon at an existing crossing excuse me, at Lawrence Road and Frederica Road roundabout at a total cost of $9,767.45 to be provided by Capital Projects Fund allocation, Commissioner District 2. Mr. Austin.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Commissioner. This is a citizen request. Commissioner approved. I think you approved it actually too.
I did.
And funded by Commissioner Findig, District 2, excuse me. And much needed, and it will bring this particular roundabout into compliance with our other ones as far as our ped crossings across the roundabouts.
Yeah, it was my understanding that a couple of people have about been hit on bikes, so I think it is needed.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve the installation and funding of a flashing pedestrian beacon at existing crossing at Lawrence Road and Frederica Road roundabout at a total cost of $9,767.45 to be provided by the Capital Projects Fund allocation, Commissioner District 2.
All right, there's no discussion. I'll second. All in favor? Number 26, water contract for Summersby Point roadway and drainage improvement construction to Swindell Construction Company of Glenville, Georgia, in the amount of $1,198,083, with funding to be provided by the American Rescue Plan Act funds. Mr. Austin.
This is a much needed improvement to a subdivision that has suffered for at least the past 8 years. Their drainage catch basins are not in the right location. They need more cross drains. They need their roads in the neighborhoods resurfaced. So we were able to secure some ARPA funding for design to correct the original plan, provide some relief to that neighborhood, and we put it out for bid. and we didn't get any bids. And so this is the second time we've put it out for bid, and we got one bid from Swindell, the construction company. They've recently done the sidewalk on Old Cypress Mill Road. They do good work for us. We believe this to be a fair price. We didn't get a second bid, but we did have a contractor tell us what their bid was going to be, and it was higher than this. So we recommend approval for this project.
Any discussion?
No discussion.
But they wouldn't issue that bid, but it was higher.
They were already under contract with a couple of other things, so I think it was a bonding
Okay.
problem.
Okay, thank you, Dave.
Sir.
All right,
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to award a contract for the Summersby Point roadway and drainage improvement construction to Swindle Construction Company, Inc. of Glenville, Georgia, in the amount of $1,198,083, with funding to be provided by the American Rescue Plan Act funds.
second. All in favor? You got the next one, Dave?
No, Mark's up here.
All right, number 27, approve a budget amendment to increase the coroner's FY23 expenditure budget in the amount of $30,000 with funding to be provided by general fund undesignated fund balance.
Hello,
Hello, Mr. New.
I'm here to have any questions you may have.
You know, I think you and I talked, are your numbers up this year, or what about the same,
No, I
or
need some
just
stats.
prices higher?
For you. In 2021, we worked 318 deaths, 83 went for autopsies. 2022, worked 301 deaths, 86 went for autopsies. And this year so far, we worked 68, where 23 went for autopsies.
68 so far this year.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's like I told you, we had more in the budget for deputy coroners, but over the years, it got drained down to cover the transport cost that goes up every year.
Okay. All right.
And also, we're required by law on what we respond to, so we're not doing any more or any less than what we're supposed to.
I understand.
Yeah.
All right. David.
Mr. New and I also had discussion of the reasons for the costs, and I have no additional discussion.
All right. You motion, or you want me to make it?
Mr.
I
Chair-
can make it, right? Will?
Yes.
Go ahead then.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a budget amendment to increase the coroner's FY23 expenditure budget in the amount of $30,000 with funding to be provided by the general fund undesignated fund balance.
Second? All in favor? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Number 28, approval from Roberts Civil Engineering in the amount of $28,900 for the design of Mallory Park parking improvements with funds to be provided by SPLOST 2022, funded with an advance from Capital Projects Fund unreserved cash, which will be paid back once SPLOST 22 collections begin for the Mallory Park improvements. Mr. Austin?
So we put out an RFP to design this parking area. It's not only a parking area, but there's going to probably be some underground retention. There's a pond there right now. We received 2 proposals. The proposals were evaluated by 3 of our staff engineers, Stacy, Tony, and Jason. This proposal from Roberts was won that evaluation. Roberts, I believe, is also, we're doing the frame, if you will, around the park, which is the parking. I believe Roberts is also doing the engineering inside for the ball field. So it'll be helpful that Roberts will be able to talk to Roberts as far as the drainage, because we're going to probably take maybe some of their field drainage. So we recommend approval for this.
All right.
No discussion.
If you got anything? All right. Will it?
Mr. Chairman, I move that we approve a proposal from Roberts Civil Engineering in the amount of $28,900 for the design of Mallory Park parking improvements with funds to be provided by SPOS 2022, funded with an advance from Capital Projects Fund, unreserved cash, which will be paid back once SPOS 2022 collections begin for the Mallory Park improvements.
Second. All in favor? Number 29, authorize the issuance of an invitation to bid for design for the replacement of an undersized culvert underneath the railroad tracks at Emmanuel Church Road and Head Drive, with funding to be provided by SPOS 2022, funded with an advance from the Capital Projects Fund, unreserved cash, which will be paid back once SPOS 2022 collections begin for Public Works roads.
So in-house work, we've recently been doing some work on the Lake subdivision, which has had a history of just water in their ditches and with nowhere to go. So we've regraded those ditches, and we've regraded the outfall ditches that take that water. The problem is it all goes in one direction. It goes under the railroad track, and the railroad track has a cross drain, if you will, and it's a certain size. And so we really need to have somebody design that and then work to get it permitted by the railroad so that we can push more water or allow more water to flow under that railroad track and alleviate the water in the neighborhood.
You know, the railroad will be the key component here.
You got it.
I don't have any questions.
Okay, can I ask, if you,
Yes, sir.
Jason, so this, with SPOS 22, so this is underneath the bigger pot that we had listed for drainage? Yes, sir. One of the projects, okay.
He checked on that last week.
All right, very good.
I did.
Yep, thank you.
He had the same question last week.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we authorize the issuance of an invitation to bid for design for the replacement of an undersized culvert underneath the railroad tracks at Emmanuel Church Road and Head Drive, with funding to be provided by SPOS 2022, funded with an advance from Capital Projects Fund, unreserved cash, which will be paid back once SPOS 2022 collections begin for the Public Works roads.
The second. All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. With that being said, I guess we can adjourn.
Is there any that need to be pulled off?
Yeah. Is there anything you want to pull? I talked to Commissioner Booker. He said he was okay. So I guess we will be adjourned.